Nowadays, we have grown men with beards wearing dresses going into the women's restroom. When I was younger, any normal person that felt like they were born in the wrong body was trying to be passable and they were really wanting to live their life as a woman. And if you really think psychologically you were born in the wrong body, unfortunately, it's like a mental illness. But people hear illness and they just have a full spiral. So this new age of weirdos and predators trying to pretend they're trans or pretend they're this and harm women and children, that's my issue. So there is this piece of shit named Lily Tino who is pretending to be trans and recently went into the women's restroom at Disneyland. Disneyland's for children. Yes, there's adults that like Disney. We know that. And the camera's rolling. I'm sorry, there's a 7-year-old that just walked behind you. Why the fuck are you in a little training bra and lipstick, clearly with a man's voice, in the women's restroom filming? Rage bait, attention. These things did not exist 10 years ago. So people love to misconstrue what I said, and that's really what I meant.
Jeffree Star, everybody knows Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star is a man. He does not identify as a woman. He identifies himself as a gay man. Nothing wrong with that. But I love that he said this about transgenders. People in the community and the lesbian and gays need to start speaking up. They're scared to speak up because they're part of your LGBTQ plus, but even though even they know it's wrong. They know it makes no sense. They know that it's messing up our children. A man with a beard, with a man's voice, has a fake hair dress on, is confusing children. This is the reason why they should not be in the women's restroom. What does a child think when they see a man with a beard, with a man's voice, with fake hair and a dress on, using the restroom next to them? They don't know what to think. My main slogan is protect the women and kids. That's all I care about. But we have this gay man, Jeffree Star, very popular, even said it's a mental illness to think that you were born this way, but you think you're a woman, but you were born as a man. This is why this community needs to speak up. Because if somebody like me speaks up more and more about it, I'm a heterosexual man, been married for 13 years, has a wife and 2 daughters. You're going to think that I'm hating on trans people. I am not. I respect it. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. I do not hate you. I do not think you're crazy, but I do think you're crazy in the aspect of you can go into a woman's bathroom even though you look like a man just because you have a skirt on. That's crazy. That's mental illness. We have to speak out about this and say this is wrong. But why are people saying that it's okay? Let them be. Kids don't know what they are. They know that they were born this way, and we have to continue to tell them that you are this. You are this. You were born a male, you're a male. If you're a female, you're a female. There's no other genders. I don't even want to call it genders anymore because they say I did. It's no other sexes. There's two sexes. There's a male and a female. What's wrong with that? Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to confuse the kids. And you want the kids to make sure, oh, that's okay. It's not okay. But it's good to hear somebody like Jeffree Star. We know that he's a gay man. We know he dresses up. We know that he does what he does. Very successful. But even he thinks that that's wrong. But what's happening is a lot of these trans women are doing these things on purpose to get the attention to show people that, oh, they hate me. Nobody hates trans women. Nobody's saying that you're despicable. We're just saying you can't go to the women's bathroom. So they use the press, they use the media to come out there and make it seem like, oh, hate crime. No, we're just telling you to use the men's bathroom. Where's the hate crime? Are people beating you up and saying that we're beating you up because you're trans? I haven't seen any video like that. We're just telling you you can't go to the women's bathroom because we got little girls in there and we want to make sure they're protected and not getting anything misconstrued. So how's that hate? How is that something that we're being mean to you? We're just telling you you can't do something that you're not supposed to do. And if we stand up to that, then that's all right. because the women's restroom is for women and the men's bathroom is for the men. I said just have transgender bathrooms. No, they want to feel like a woman. You're not a woman. You're not a woman. So this is why we need more people in the LGBTQ community to speak up, because it's not considered hate speech if it's coming from them, correct? Jeffree Star, one of the biggest names in the community, speaking up about it, said that's absolutely wrong. We have little kids. We have to make sure that we understand what is going on in this world, and we have to protect the kids. All of this stuff is about protecting the women and protecting the kids. If we can't do that, then what are we doing? Our kids aren't being protected. But I love that Jeffree Star said this. I don't judge anybody. If that's what you want to do in your life, that's what you want to do. Who am I to judge? We are all not perfect, right? But if you try to make me and force me to accept that you're going to the women's bathroom, I will never accept that. But I'll always say that you are a person. You have rights. You do not deserve to be beat up on, hated on, get kicked on. You're a human being. You should not be killed because of what you do. No. But the thing is, though, it's crazy. I talked to my wife about this. It's just like, I remember the day, like, RuPaul. I wonder what RuPaul thinks about all this, right? It was kind of like at night. That was like a night thing they did, right? They didn't really come out like that. It was like a thing that they did. But now it's like you're taking away the sanctity of women. This is why the LGBTQ needs to stop this and speak more about this. And also, too, this is why we need more women to speak about this. It shouldn't be men speaking about this. It should be a lot more women to speak up and say, this is not right. We accept what you want to be, but you cannot come into our space. This is our space. More and more women need to speak up about this. And as I talk more and more about this, I start to see more and more of it on my For You page. People contacting me, which is great. But don't be afraid to stand up for your rights. Don't be afraid to stand up for what's right. Women, feminists want to stand up for being independent, equal pay, all of this, but you should be able to stand up for your bathrooms, your sanctity of being a woman. Because what it's making it seem like is we don't need women. We're going to take over your bathrooms? Now what? So women, speak up for what you need to be speaking up for, because if you don't, you'll be taken over. You'll be taken over, and it's sad. The men love the women very much. But like I said, I have no problem with you want to be trans. I have no problem with you want to be gay. I have no problems with that. But when you try to influence our kids and try to get them at an early age, I have a problem with that, because our kids don't deserve that. If they become 18 and they live the life and they're in situations and when they learn about it, they're curious, that's a different conversation. But when you're trying to get these kids young to get used to seeing you being a woman when you're a man and you look like a man, like you haven't even tried to transition, you just a beard with hair. We're not doing that. Or we have teachers saying it's okay. Yeah, you are a little girl, even though you're a boy. Nah, we got to instill and tell our kids what they are and say there's no other way, because that's why they grow up to be like that. It's because what's happening when they're young. How are they being cultured and surrounded when they're young? Because if you're not being like that when they're young, they'll be exposed to stuff like this when they're young, and they'll think that it's okay. So this is why, as parents, we have to make sure that we are protecting our kids and making sure that they are focused on the right things. But shout out to Jeffree Star. He is a human being. I love him just like any other child of Christ, right? No matter what. But I love the fact that he made trans women should not be in a women's restroom.